CM Punk turned the AEW Media Scrum into an RF shoot video, and Tony Khan couldn't do a damn thing about it. Looks like Tony needs to be surgically rebuilt into a real leader stat. Quick, grab me a scalpel.
Hey, stay connected. Follow Pro Wrestling Bits.
Tony Khan was big-leagued by his new AEW World Champion CM Punk just moments after Punk won the AEW World Championship a second time. Despite Tony Khan being in the room, there was not an ounce of authority to speak of as CM Punk ripped into Hangman Adam Page, Colt Cabana, and the Young Bucks like it's 2032 when CM Punk has a podcast with Conrad Thompson. AEW won't last till 2032 by hitching its wagon to CM Punk, which is exactly why Tony Khan needs to fire his ass. CM Punk is the Terrell Owens of professional wrestling, a legit Hall of Fame caliber athlete who never met a locker room he didn't poison. At 43 years of age, T.O. Punk is a physical, mental, and emotional ticking time bomb in AEW. Tony Khan got a great year of business out of CM Punk, but if he chooses Punk over Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the Elite will walk, possibly with Hangman Adam Page, the locker room would be pissed, many of AEW's hardcore fan base would be pissed, meaning many fans will turn on CM Punk, stop supporting the product, and it'll defeat the purpose of keeping him around in the first place. And this is all assuming CM Punk doesn't have that pec or bicep injury that he's rumored to have. With Warner Brothers Discovery and budget cut season, they're not trying to pay a company with a ticking time bomb as its top star and potential lawsuits pending. Now Arena doesn't want to worry about hiring extra security to break up AEW shoot fights. Don't be surprised if they tell AEW to kick rocks for All Out 2023. This situation is untenable for all parties to work together moving forward, and this decision is easy. Fire CM Punk. Easy as that decision seems, I'm not convinced Tony Khan will finally take control of it, especially given his bedside manner during T.O. Punk's entire meltdown. This isn't Twitter on Friday nights, so Tony Khan had no bark and even less of a bite. Mans looked terrified. He drank that water so nervously you'd think it was given to him by the Motor City Machine Guns, near Flint, Michigan. Khan came off as more of a babysitter or CM Punk's agent than his boss. If I were to show this video to somebody who doesn't watch wrestling, they'd probably be like, why is CM Punk's nephew with the bad haircut so fidgety and sad? Of course, this spilled into an all-out brawl backstage, pun intended. When it comes to the actual father figure needed to control this locker room full of frustrated egomaniacs, Tony Khan has been softer than those pastries CM Punk was stuffing down his throat. Khan's backstage talent meeting, which ignored the CM Punk versus Adam Page drama, clearly fell on deaf ears. After trying to get everyone on the same page, Tony Khan failed miserably, and his leadership needs to be retooled. It's time for an operation, and because Tony Khan will make more enemies as an actual leader rather than a pushover, this operation is spelled with two P's. Let's see here. Let's start with Tony Khan's mind state. Tony Khan thinks this is all friends wrestling, where everybody gets along, and when money, egos, and fights get in the way, we can all just have one big prayer circle backstage before Dynamite and make it better. All Friends Wrestling is such a criticism of AEW that MJF used that exact phrase during a pipe bomb on AEW Dynamite in Inglewood. Tony Khan's mind state about everybody getting along and being happy needs to change immediately. No more of this, we gotta get everybody on the pay-per-view mentality. Try to please everybody and you end up pleasing nobody. Tony Khan needs to implement his vision of professional wrestling whether or not it achieves somebody else's agenda. Tony Khan needs to be less friendship-based and more of a killer, the way he wants everybody to believe he is on Twitter. In fact, maybe we can do a transplant where we take some of his Twitter fingers and move them to his mind. Let's go a little lower to his heart, and would you look at that, it's a heart of gold, everybody. Well, you're not gonna be needing that, Tony. Show me a promoter with a heart and I'll show you every carny wrestler who's broken it. This is the wrestling business, and Tony Khan's affection for his talent is a good thing, but to an extent. The problem is that dynamic is way more similar to a fan's affection for his favorite wrestler than the employee-employer relationship with Vince McMahon or even Triple H. In fact, one of Triple H's many nicknames is Papa H, a nod to his positive relationship with many up-and-coming NXT talent, but not as a friend or a fan, but as a father figure. Think about fathers, they have authority. Tony Khan doesn't need to become the Sith Lord to succeed in the pro wrestling business as a promoter, but he should at least be more like Darth Vader. So, we took a few of Tony's Twitter fingers, but that's okay. He doesn't need them IRL. We're way past Tony Twitter fingers because Tony Khan needs to ball those Twitter fingers into an iron fist. Khan needs to decide where his loyalties lie, put the hammer down, and not waver from it. There really isn't a perfect answer to this entire situation because of how messy it's gotten, and it's basically a decision between box office and backstage morale. Does Tony Khan stand by his world champion who's unquestioned as AEW's most bankable star, or does he stick with his day one EVPs? I don't think he's gonna get to have his cake and eat it too, but whatever decision Tony Khan makes, he needs to make it fiercely, confidently, and in a way that communicates that whatever side he chooses is under his rule. He shouldn't be standing behind CM Punk or even beside him, but rather above him. Same goes to Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks if he decides he's Team Reseda. Tony Khan does not instill fear in any of these wrestlers. Well, he needs to create it. Finally, when you turn this patient around, you'll notice it doesn't have a spine. This is the most important surgical procedure for Tony Khan if he wants to become a real leader. A spine. Sit up straight. Don't let your talent shoot on the product you pay millions of dollars to produce and talent you pay millions of dollars to perform. Have ground rules that are not to be broken under any circumstance. Stand up for those rules and stand up for your talent in public if you need to, which at this point he definitely does. The public perception of Tony Khan being a spineless pushover has never felt more prevalent than it is today, and it's mainly because of his lack of authority during a garden variety CM Punk meltdown with his locker room already in shambles. Even the on-camera version of Tony Khan backed down and paid MJF more money after MJF publicly buried him back in June. Tony Khan needs a spine. You can do it, just put your back into it. And would you look at that, with an iron fist, no heart, a spine, and more of a killer instinct for his mind state, this new Tony Khan is kind of starting to resemble Vincent Kennedy McMahon. That's both a good and a bad thing. Here, let's go to the crotch area and put a chastity belt on it. There, just saved you about $20 million in hush money payments. Has Tony Khan lost his locker room forever? Will he ever get a spine? Tell me in the comments.